Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin, and this is the rock bucket I built about 3 years ago. Now this thing works amazing as a grapple, but not really good as a rock bucket because it had no sides. And when I pick up a big pile of dirt and I would shake it, everything would just fall off the ends and I'd only end up with a couple little rocks and have to keep continually to scoop to get all the rocks out. I'm hoping, since I made these removable sides, we'll be able to keep a lot more of that rock in, a lot more of that dirt will filter out, and it'll be a lot more efficient. I'll put a link to how I made these in the description, but today we're going to get back on grading, and I'm hoping we can use this bucket to pick a lot more rock out of this trench and be a lot more efficient. Because the last time we were doing this, we used my little excavator with my little rock bucket that I bought, and though it worked really well at picking all the rocks, it's extremely slow. So I'm hoping if we can get the majority of the big stuff with this, it'll make the screening with the excavator a lot faster. Let's get to work and find out. I am so excited with how these sides worked. Just that first scoop, I picked up way more rocks than I ever have in the past. So happy. The downside is I have so many weeds right now that the weeds are kind of blocking up the slats and holding a lot of dirt, but I think once I start working everything and a lot of the weeds get kind of pulled out, this thing's going to work amazing. Let's put it to work and see how much we can get done. So I'm really happy with how that worked. Those sides made all the difference in the world. The rock bucket works amazing now. It would have been a lot easier if it weren't for the slopes and the uneven ground. I'd be able to scoop a lot easier, come in from the end of the trench, push my way across the trench, and be able to scoop and grab everything. But it worked fairly well. I got most of the big rock out. I loosened everything up, so hopefully now when I come through with the excavator, everything will filter through a lot quicker and a lot easier. I'm also going to do it a little bit differently than I did last time. Last time I took a scoop, I shook it all out, and then I spun and I dumped all the rock in the gator right away. And the gator's really high and kind of hard to work over. So I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to set up, and I'm just going to start shaking everything into 2 separate piles. And then I'll use the clean pile to fill in the upper part of the trench. And then later I'll just scoop the rock out and move it to where I want it later. Hopefully that'll make this go a lot faster and a lot more efficiently. So let's grab the excavator and start sorting some more rock. So I've been at this for about an hour now, and I think I've gotten maybe 10-15 feet up the hill, which is a lot faster than it was going the first time. I think just doing the separate piles is really working out in my favor. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep on plugging away, and I'll catch up with you in a couple hours. So I ran for about another hour, got about another 10 feet, so we probably got about 20 feet of total trench, de-rocked I guess we'll call it, and I ran out of gas, so we're gonna have to let that sit, let it cool, so I can actually pour gas in without worrying about it combusting, because that thing is crazy hot all the time. But I think once we get it refueled, we'll bring the excavator back down here, we'll bring the gator over, and I think we're gonna start hauling out all this stone just to make it look a lot better. So that's looking way better. I'm so happy I took the time to clean those rocks up today. I have just a little bit back there by the gator that still needs to be cleaned up, and I'm having trouble getting it with the machine. So I'm just gonna grab a couple pitchforks and just kind of sift through and pick out the rocks I can real quick. And I think we're gonna call it a day. Well, not bad for a full day's worth of work. It looks way better than it did when I started this morning. We got a lot of rock pull out of there, which is awesome. I can't wait to get up the hill, get all the rock pull out of that, and actually start grading this out. I'm so excited for that. Hopefully in the next video we get all the way up the hill and we get ready to start grading that section. We'll see when that time comes. Hopefully you guys found this interesting. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.